To start with, I will give you a brief overview of what we plan to talk about today. Henning will start the presentation by describing the point of departure for the principles and strategic visions included in this Agenda 2020. After that, Yasmin will then outline our thoughts and considerations regarding the competition format for IRV events. After that, Linda will talk about the IRV's plans for international development in the future. And to conclude at the end, I will sum up with ideas about how to include the IRV community, member federations, you guys, in the realization of these visions. I'll give the word to Henning now.
So thank you, Maria, and welcome to the Presentation Agenda 2020. I would like to start this presentation today with a general overview of the principles and the strategic vision that we have for our sport, for wheel gymnastics. I think most of you know this guy from Australia last year in Lignano, Adam Strom. He has shown us with his exercises here on the upper rim of the spiral wheel quite plainly that there are new developments within our sport. And I think that's very important. And we have to think about changes that are necessary to our sport. So we started to think about new structures that make our sport more attractive, that makes it more flexible, and that makes it more innovative. We don't want to react like this. We want to create the framework for our sport proactively. That's very important for us. We added this slide to the presentation because we think it's very important for you to understand where we are at the moment. So we have the 2016 World Championships here, and we started our approach last year, mid of last year, 2015. So we had 1 year to build our ideas, our ideas for the vision of wheel gymnastics in the future. We are convinced that it's very important to have these objectives, to have the kind of route for the next years. Our plan is that we start with the development of these ideas from now on until 2020. It's called Agenda 2020. We want to implement the first ideas from 2020 onwards. All right. Let's start with the mission statements, the definition of our objectives for wheel gymnastics in general and our work as IRV Federation. We have 6 principles which are the foundation for our work. The first one, we offer innovative platforms and opportunities to spread wheel gymnastics for all 5 continents. Second one, we facilitate access to wheel gymnastics and are committed to a healthy and sustainable performance development. Third one, we offer attractive events to make wheel gymnastics a known and sought-after sport. Number 4, we shape the future of our sport open-mindedly through commitment and competence. Number 5, we are committed to a fair and respectful interaction with one another. And number 6, we build bridges and maintain an active and transparent cooperation. I think these 6 principles were the starting point for all of our ideas that we will come up now, and I will hand over the presenter to Yasmin. Thank you.
Thank you, Henning. We will now move on to the competition program. This is where the IRV up until now has its core competence, and we have worked hard to define important strategic goals that will give us a sustainable future. Yasmin will take this part of the presentation.
Okay, so the competition program, we start out with the established programs we have. We all know and then I will tell you what the plan is for the future for the competitions. So wheel gymnastics in general, we have two focuses. One is the gymnastic focus, and one is the artistic focus. We have on the gymnastic side, we have the Gymwheel with straight line, spiral, and vault, as we all know it. Then we have Steer Wheel. It's more located in the middle between artistic and gymnastic with technical program and free program. And we think that there should be a third discipline, which is freestyle. It's not yet decided what it would look like, but we are working on it. So we have seen, we have all seen in Lignano what can be done with the Gymwheel, other than we know. And we should be open to the creativity of the gymnasts. So what we have now, in the competitions, the framework that we set for our competition is that no medal deciding competition lasts more than 2.5 hours. And we have a maximum of 4 days of competitions. We already did the first one with the all-around finals. It lasted a little bit longer, I think, but we are on the way. And for the 4 days of competitions, it's necessary to change the competition program, that we can achieve that. So the current program is we have the juniors with all around and all 3 disciplines, the seniors with all around and 3 disciplines, the team competition, and the SEER competition with technical and free program. In the future, what we want to do is to have the Gymwheel with all around and straight line with music, spiral and vault, starting from 16 years of age. So we follow with this other gymnastics who have the same age range. Also, SEER will start from age 16. Team stays the same, and as I said, we will add freestyle. So, what happens to the juniors? We want to install a world ranking list. We have competitions, the international Austrian championships, the big wheel weekend in Chicago, or the open Danish competitions and other competitions. And we would have a finale of these competitions, which is the IRV Cup for the juniors, until the age of 18. So you can decide if you want to have, if you want to go in the juniors competition until 18, or start with the international competitions from 16 on with straight line with music. Or do both, right? And we have not worked completely through it all, but you don't have to do all competitions to be in the world ranking list. It will be like 2 out of 5 or 3 out of 5. We're not decided yet.
It's just the
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Just to understand, the small competition, like the Austrian competition or the Open in Chicago, these are the qualifications for the IRV Cup for the juniors?
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it's going to work. But we're not really set on the rules. We're working out that it's going to fit for everybody, or doable for everybody who wants to be part of that. So it will look like this, the World Championships with starting from 16 onwards, and world ranking lists until 18 years of age, and we still have the Team World Cup, which will stay the same. All right.
Thank you, Yasmin. We will now move on to international development and our plans to provide support for sustainable progress and improvements in spreading knowledge about our sport. Linda Vester will continue this part of the presentation.
All right. Like Maria said, we want to offer a framework for sustainable and efficient development that has a wide range in 5 different continents of wheel gymnastics. And given that we have a limited budget, this needs to be efficient and low risk. So we have 3 categories that we focus on. The first is the beginner level. This is for countries that have limited to no knowledge with and experience with wheel gymnastics at all. And we would like to offer them the required documents and information, photos and videos to be able to start with wheel gymnastics independently and offer necessary courses to them. The second category is the intermediate level. So this concerns countries that have already the required structures to practice wheel gymnastics, such as the national federation, national championships, etc. And the IRV sees themselves more as a supportive role here, supporting initiatives that come from the member countries, such as subsidies for training camps and courses. Then the third category concerns the individuals in the different member countries that are active on an international level. So this concerns gymnasts, coaches, judges. And here we will be more proactive by organizing elite training camps and courses. So how can we reach people all over the world that are interested in wheel gymnastics, and how can we support them in a sustainable way? Our main project is that we're building a community and knowledge platform, which is already, we have already a prototype available on insidewheel.com. We have support from several member countries and sponsors, and now we're in the process of looking for people who want to contribute to develop this project. So this platform will offer technical drawings and instructions to create straps for people, for instance, in developing countries who don't have the means to import wheels from all the way from Europe. It will also have an online difficulty catalog for Gymwheel and for Wheel, which contains instructions of how to learn new elements, how to avoid injuries, what is important for judges when you do these elements, but also videos, for instance, instruction videos of how to learn things. Then in addition, in the future, we would like to offer online courses for judges and for trainers. And our idea is that it will also be possible to do an online exam in this, for which you can get a certificate afterwards. But this is a more long-term goal. Then finally, we also have a marketplace on insidewheel.com, which is meant to offer a platform to buy and sell wheels, to connect people that can offer knowledge or services to each other. For instance, starting countries might be looking for a trainer, while young people who are good at wheel gymnastics might want to maybe go abroad for half a year to train. So this is a place where people can connect to each other. And there will be a discussion platform where people can ask questions regarding the regulations of competitions and the code of points. And these questions will be answered by the relevant people, so the people that are in charge of the code of points. And the idea is to no longer have one-to-one communications between gymnasts and trainers and the IRV, but to make this available to everyone so that everybody can have the same knowledge and it will be more transparent. So next to Inside Wheel, we want to continue to work with different sports organizations So in the near future, in 2017, we would still like to be involved in the CSIT World Sport Games, but in a different format than we were last year with the World Championships in Lignano. Next year, we would like to organize an open mixed masters competition. This will be for gym and Gymwheel, and it will be a team competition for teams of 3 people, with no limits in age or nationality or level. So, for instance, we were considering forming a team of Henning, me, and Eric, and they'll be the first one to sign up.
No one enters last place, but they do.
Sorry?
No one will be in the last place because they.
Exactly. We want to be supportive of you all.
I wouldn't be too sure.
So, in parallel to this open mixed masters competition, there will be courses for judges, and we want to offer informal training sessions for gymnasts. And all of this will be open to everyone because we want to make use of the framework of the CSIT to spread the spirit of wheel gymnastics to a wider community.
Thank you, Linda.
Do you have a location for the Open Mixed Masters yet?
It is in Riga, in Latvia. Thank you. Somebody, I think it's in June 2017. Will be, yeah, June, July 2017. We will now conclude the presentation by looking at a few ways we can include the IRV community in the realization of these visions. We are very concerned in, it's very important for us to have structured forms of participation, so that instead of just having loose conversations here and there, we have an organized way of communicating with each other. So one example is to establish athletes commissions for both Gymwheel, for Gymwheel. Another example, another idea that we would like to implement is to have a regular IRV Congress. That is probably a little bit of a more long-term thing, but it's something that we would very much like to keep in mind. And then our third area, which is the one that in many ways has already started, working groups within little pockets of expertise within wheel gymnastics. We already have, I mean, as a direct result of the fact that many of the IRV, the usual IRV team members could not be with us here in Cincinnati, we have already recruited a number of people that have provided invaluable help and assistance here. So these kinds of working groups, the IRV is very welcome to be contacted from people who are willing to offer their services in a structured way, be part of our structures for the future. We thank you all for coming and listening to what we have to say. We have actually been much more efficient with time than we expected. It helps to be planned. Let's keep rolling. But we also, I think we have time for some questions now. If there are questions that take a longer time or something that you want to write down, then we will take those with us.
For the seniors, except that there will be like an IRV Cup for the seniors, but the world ranking, as for the juniors, probably...
We would like to start with it for the juniors.
Okay.
Maybe there's an opportunity in the next years to have it for the seniors too.
Okay.
Two questions. One is finance. So, the small countries, the USA, they all having hard ones to finance such a competition. Now you cut the juniors off, or the age groups, or the age categories, so you're losing half of the competitors. So you lose competitors. You lose money in financing these things, so that's one problem. The other thing, the junior tour of the international European competition court is fine, Or what about Japan and US?
Israel.
Do we go, and Israel. Do we then install, competitions in these countries and everybody has to travel because nobody has the money? It's all about financing. That's or my thought about it.
Yeah, I think all these things that you have shown are very good, but I think it's too quick and we will lose the heart of the competitions, and these are the juniors. They really fight. Yes, I want to speak. And it's not possible for us, I think the other countries as well, to travel more than once a year. So it's not, I can't take more than this week. I can't take it 2 times a year. It doesn't work. Because we just do it for hobby. And this is something that will not change in the next 4 years. So it might change in 10 years or something like that. But
Okay.
I can't, it's not possible.
I think, Katja, you mentioned...
It takes everything off its quick. You have to do the things Linda said, that's fine, that's great. You have to wait for more competitors inside each country. And then, later on, maybe you can cut juniors.
This is the strategic point. Yeah, this is the strategic point of view, and we have to change something to make our sport more attractive. Attractive for seniors, for juniors too. And I think we are going into a discussion now, and I would like to put that into the General Assembly, so please write down that there is, maybe we should discuss this thing with the juniors. But we are convinced that this is the only way, and we have 4 years, because that's the reason why we tell you now that we want the juniors to have a new format, a new competition format. It's not yet defined if it's only 1 or 2 or 3 competitions. It can be 2 competitions in the US, it can be 3 or 4 competitions in Europe, and you can take part at 2 or maybe 3. That's not defined yet, yeah? So for us, it's important to have attractive events to make our sport more known and thought after. That's the reason why we do that, because we see that our world championships, we have 1 week. You are right, we have 1 week. But we think we have to shrink this event a bit, to reduce the requirements, to find hosting or hosts for our events, to reduce the events to a maximum of 4 days. For competitions, of course.
Yeah, we could think about another way of putting the competitions together. We don't have to cut off the
Okay,
I think that the IRV Cup, it will not be a whole week, it will be a long weekend. It will be 1 day of all around and 1 day of final.
Yes.
It's probably a Friday of training, so it's only a long weekend. You take 1 or 2 days off at work.
It's basically together with the Team World Cup. That's our idea. We have the Team World Cup and we have the IRV Cup.
Okay.
Many other sport federations do that like this. For the juniors, have a separate cup. So it's maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday. No, it's not a whole week. Guido.
I understand that we're not going to close anything right now. Just want everybody to understand that the main problem of a faraway country is not if it's 2 days competition or 4 days competition. What costs a lot is the flights. So if I'm coming here for the United States for a competition, I paid already $1,000 for the flight. I don't care if I'm staying 2 days or 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do the week longer and put more competition and more gymnasts. Then to shrink it to half, it will cost me the same. And I know that I have another 2 or 3 competitions.
It will cost you more because we have less girls because there is only senior. Because it's small.
Okay.
Also, we don't have any sports from the country. Everything is paid by the parents of the girls.
Okay, that's a kind of discussion now. We just want to answer questions if there's any. misunderstanding or something else.
I would like to be part of development the freestyle program.
Cool. Thank you.
Just as we asked Günther in terms of age-wise to look at the participants in Lignano, that the number of juniors that would not have been included by age. I know this is for the big delegations. This is not the issue because they fill both juniors and seniors. But in total, there were, I think it was 14 to 16 gymnasts that were below the age of 16 out of all the competitors in Lignano.
And maybe one can think about, today we have only 5 competitors per class. Maybe we can think about adding 1 or 2 so that we have 7, then you can bring more people to the World Championships. Yeah? It's just we have to make sure that our events are attractive to you, to the gymnasts, for trainers, for the IRV, and of course the spectators. Yeah, that's very important.
And we really want to not just cut the juniors. I mean, the other possibility would be to just cut the juniors and just have the seniors and not offer anything for juniors. This is our way to include the juniors into our structures and offer them something to compete on an international level.
Julia first.
I have a concern having the 16-year-olds competing against the seniors for 2 reasons. One is that it might not be a problem for the stronger countries, but for newer countries, US and Colombia, they have young people, they're not ready to compete in senior class. And it's demotivating and they won't. It's really hard. They're juniors, they should be separated from the music routine, like that, competing with the others. I see a problem there. I don't think it's a problem for the Germans. They can keep up with their seniors, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely, now you asked Japan as well, the financial aspect is our biggest thing. Because we don't care to travel here and stay for a week or 8 days, and the event is attractive. Formats need to be changed, formats needs to be added, formats have been changed, can be lower, can be bigger, can be smaller. The week is not the factor, we need the week to have the community together. This weekend thing before, like last time we had the MFA World Championship was in Switzerland, am I right? Or the weekend? It was the last time.
In Arnsberg, Germany.
Every nation arrived the weekend before in Arnsberg. So everybody was there for 8 days, while the warm-up started Tuesday or something. The same happened in Switzerland before, so even so they shortened the people going to be there. It's financing for the host.
I've written that down, finances, to discuss it in the...
I just can say it, because for this competition you need minimum 100 people, athletes, to compete to have some finances, right?
Of course.
Now we just 120.
Of course.
We cut the juniors off, even this 14, we have 105. Yeah, it's easier if you stay in Europe.
Achim.
How will the competitions, who will be the qualifications for the IRV Cup be defined? Can we apply, for example, with the Belgian Open to be one of these competitions?
That's the idea, yes.
Okay. And will it always be the same, or will there be changing?
We're not there yet.
Maybe there's a change every 2 years, every 3 years, every year.
And is the IRV Cup planned to be each year or every 2 years?
Together with the IRV Cup, with the Team World Cup.
Okay.
So every 2 years.
Okay.
World Championships, Team World Cup, IRV Cup, World Championships, Team World Cup, IRV Cup.
Okay.
Yeah. So Katja first.
I think it doesn't make the competition more attractive if you just cut it, because we had World Team Cup in Berlin. It was very attractive, so it's a question of how we present the competition, and it doesn't matter if it's on 3 days or 4 days if it's juniors or seniors?
It's not only the. So we have to shrink the event to make it cheaper. First of all, to have it's for the flight not, but the accommodation and so on. And we have to think about what about the host country. We need a very big building. We need more than 200 beds. We need all the infrastructure. It's easier for us or for a hosting country to find a place to host a world championship, host an event if it's smaller. Israel, there was one question.
Did you thought about doing junior with music also?
Sorry, for the
Junior with music.
no, it's for the IRV Cup or this world ranking list. It's a straight line without music and spiral and waltz.
Yeah, no, they asking it will be more.
You're searching for something more attractive.
Mm-hmm.
So we're saying not to cut off the junior and to do seniors 16 plus, to leave it the way it is, just to add music for the junior. For example, just matching the routine for music without creativity. Or like to do another format that will be.
But it's basically the same then,
attractive.
putting the juniors into the seniors, into the Gymwheel category.
You don't cut gymnasts off.
Yeah.
You still
not
have
really
14,
cut off.
15 age competing in the world.
And we can send 10 people.
We are afraid from the fact that we supposed to come a staff of 5 people, like at least 3 coaches and 2 judges,
Mm-hmm.
for 5 years in the senior class. It won't be possible. It's to come 5 gymnasts with 5 responsibles. The parents would pay double.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying it because in gymnastic, in rhythmic gymnastic, it's like this. The juniors are always with music. There is no difference between juniors and seniors, so maybe we need to take it from there.
Mm-hmm. Julius first, then Achim.
Yeah,
Sorry, yeah.
It's me?
Julius.
Okay. Although I understand the financial concerns, and I agree with that on some point, I also would like to say I get where the idea comes from, and I think it also has quite some advantages. So I have 2 suggestions. The first one would be for financials to take some assumptions of how the event would look like in your opinion and back it up with numbers. Same as back the other ones up with historical numbers and make a comparison and show the advantages that you think there are. That makes it much easier for discussion because right now it seems it's very. You see the problems that the current organizers have, of course, and they see those problems rising with this kind of event, but maybe there are advantages that are not seen yet.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the first suggestion. And for the 16 plus seniors, I also would suggest to outline some advantages because I know it's difficult for juniors to compete with seniors. I understand that point as well, but I also see a lot of juniors quitting on the age of 18 while quitting school, changing into university, moving away. So they never really start getting into music at all, and we lose a lot of adults compared to the really broad junior class. So that would be an advantage to get juniors early onto music and decrease this barrier later on when changing university. That would be an advantage that I could see.
Achim, Sabine.
I completely agree with Julius, and I think that adding music for the juniors is a problem because compared to artistic gymnastics, I'm a little bit exaggerating, but the music is background music, and it's not the case in real gymnastics, and it's very time-consuming to make a music exercise. And if you have to do musical exercises with all the juniors, it's simply not possible in the training time. Like we have 10 hours of training per week, and if you have then 8 or 10 juniors which would have music, it's simply not possible. And I think that the concept is very good, and I think that there are a lot of advantages with this concept. But I'm asking myself, in the IRV Cup, will there only be one age group, or will it be divided, like for example, age 9 to 13 and 13 to or I don't know what?
We have not really worked through the structures of
Okay.
IRV Cup, how it should look like, which competitions, and where and when. It's the general idea, and we will come up with some rules.
That is also an example of a working group that can be formed.
Sabine.
I have two thoughts. The first one concerning the competitions for the IRV Cup. I think the scores on competitions, they're not really comparable. So sometimes you get a score at one competition that is 1 point higher than on another competition, and it's just a thought. I know you haven't sorted it out, but there has to be something so that the ranking will be fair for everyone, not that just one competition gets really high scores and the other really low. And the other thought, if you have to bring the World Championship to make it more compact, maybe you could, especially if there is this world ranking, you could maybe also think about limits to enter the worlds. I know this is a topic that is difficult, especially for countries that are starting to do wheel gymnastics, but maybe starting countries should be encouraged not to just enter the worlds, but to enter this world ranking first.
Katja?
I think it's really important to think about what's our real job. So our job is not only to have a world championship. That's nice, but our real job is to help people to get good persons. So we have to we can't take the youth off the competition and say, oh, you go to an IRV Cup. That's not the same like the world championship. Okay, it's really the heart. They fight each other. They want to go there. And I can't do this. Stop the wheel. You can't do it.
I fully agree. We're not an Olympic sport. So next 50 years we won't be. That's our highest thing. We don't have good structures yet to think about, to rebuild, because our structures are tiny and for luck we can change things. But our kids, and they're the hardest competition here. They're sitting on the bleachers, they're here. We don't have the population except Germany, Switzerland, and Austria, where all the Germans come into the building. But look here. So we have here 3 clubs in this venue and we advertise. But the competition is attractive, but you need the people to fill the building. You need the people to finance it, and you need the next generation. The next generation is our heir. You cut this generation off, you have a loop of 5 years. The agenda, the idea to think this way, yes, an agenda 4 years, I would see this agenda for 8 years, but that's as well things for development, structure, and different things. But I agree with Katja and Sarah, no, that's their family, okay, it happens. But we need the juniors. We need the kids here to see what's going on, to be inspired to bring them over to the next generations. We're not on a big sport. The juniors see what's happening. Some of them stick with our sport because they see what's happening here with the seniors. And if they don't see it and go to the IRV Cup, they see them videos on inspired. Get the juniors together, ask them who's inspired here, wants to do more, wants to continue, who decided now to continue. We need these kids to see what's going on in the sport, to have the next generation filling our jobs in the future.
Okay.
We don't have them.
Understood.
This stuff.
Discussion? Yeah? Would like to have the last questions from Achim and I think Dirk.
I'm asking myself if the name IRV Cup is a fitting name, because for me the name sounds not very attractive. And maybe if it's called like Junior World Championship or World Age Group Championship or something like that, would be more attractive. And I think it's also maybe for some countries easier to get financial support if it is a World Championship and an IRV Cup.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Dirk?
I just have to add a little bit there on just to emphasize what Katja and Wolfgang said, because we're talking about what's the aim to make it more attractive, but who should it be attractive? You all know I organize some nice events in Antwerp and also in Berlin to make it very attractive for spectators. So I know what hard work it is to organize something. But on the other hand, I'm also here on behalf of the German team, which has good power in the exercise. Everybody knows we are quite good. But we won't be there without our team spirit. This team spirit is just because we have one team, including the youth. And so whatever that will be coming on, I really like the idea to improve the structure of the IRV, and there must be something going on. But really to emphasize we need the whole team and all the aspects like Ido said, the financial aspects, traveling and something. We're not that far yet, so I think when we're going on in a deeper discussion about how to go on with the wheel gymnastics, we have to keep in mind that at this moment, we have to be attractive within ourselves to emphasize, to support, to educate the youth, because that's really important.
Okay. Any other questions concerning the slides? Yeah?
Just one quick clarification. You talked about needing to make the World Championships more attractive. Are you talking about trying to minimize watching a bunch of boring juniors routines? Or are you talking about raising the quality of all of the competition? Obviously there is always a conflict between bringing in new people and raising the level of competition. So you really can't have both. What are your thoughts on balancing raising the level of competition and attractiveness and increasing the number of participants and countries?
So that's the idea. We thought about increasing the number of participants regarding IRV Cup, to have more events in our member countries, to support our member countries, and on the other hand, increase the level of quality for the World Championships, so that it is attractive for all of us, for the spectators, and maybe you can add or want to add. That's
one of the criteria of attractiveness has to do with if you have a medal deciding competition that lasts from 8 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock in the evening. So that's I think having the qualifying competition for the senior all around and then having the final, that made the all around competition for the seniors a highlight. I don't know whether everybody felt it that way, but that's our point of departure. That is the ideal thing, that every competition where a medal is being decided, that there are a limited number and that you've had a qualifying beforehand. And if we try to do that for senior and junior and sur, we run out of time. So it's a lot of the considerations that we have made have to do with capacity and time and resources and how to make it work and how to accommodate for the possibility of more countries sending more gymnasts, because that is the idea, that we will have more countries sending more gymnasts, and the program is the capacity is already at maximum.
One last.
I'm just wondering if you're discussing determining the team champion through the all-around competition without an extra finale. Just say take the best four athletes from all countries, and whoever has the most points is team champion, and we cut that competition out. I like the all-around final, I really do, but the team final is, I don't know, I think that's more redundant than the juniors, by far. And right now we're having an extra day, we do nothing all day, and we have Cyril and team final, we can move Cyril to the all-around final and have one day clear right there. Is that in the discussion?
Not yet, no. We would like to finish now. If there's, if there's one more, there's always one more. So maybe if it's Katja, if it's a discussion.
We had a small competition. Yesterday we had a very great short competition, very attractive, but no one wanted to look at it. So, not even if it's a small and really cut it down competition.
Okay.
So when we have such a competition and many people who wants to see it, then you can decide to change. But first we have
Okay. So, yeah, very last question. Hans? Ja.
Keine Jugend-WM heißt oft in einigen Ländern auch keine Förderung.
Korrekt, alle Länder.
Oder fast in allen Ländern. Das heißt, es fehlt ganz, ganz viel Geld als Unterstützung weg. Und das muss man ganz genau analysieren, was das bedeuten würde für alle.
Mhm.
Dann kann man sicher alles machen, aber okay.
Das war, was ich sagte mit dem Namen.
Thank you. So, okay. Please write down your questions. We will collect them in, I think, before the General Assembly that is at 1:30 here in the same room. Yeah.
Really, if people
Oh.
If anyone has already written down something on the cards, I can take it. Or otherwise, we take them at the beginning of the General Assembly. No?
Yep.
So
Great.
if you want to think about it first, now.
I think we should just.
Shall I go and lock myself in?